And welcome back to The Nose Plays Age of Wonders 4, Part 5 of Loyalty is Its Own Reward series. A little bit of an early morning stream today. I got up early on my day off and made some coffee and I'm feeling pretty good. So I figured I'd go ahead and jump in and maybe do a double video today. So there's a good chance there might be a second one tonight. I haven't decided if I want to start staggering some of these when I can double them up and maybe release the extra ones the next day. So if you have any input on that and you'd like to see maybe a more regular schedule for some of these things, let me know in the comments section. But with that aside, let's go ahead and get right into it. So as of the end of last video, we had sort of cleared out most of what was going on down here. We're still working on getting a vassalage with Eastwatch, and I did build an outpost over here to claim some extra mana, which has been very beneficial. We're getting, I think, an extra 20 mana, yeah, from outposts. We're also getting a little bit of research from outposts, 15, and that's all coming at the cost of about 10 gold. So, pretty good, pretty good trade there, if you asked me. I've got one pikeman coming down. I was anticipating him actually being part of this army. And I might actually move him into this army. So here's something I got to think about. One of the things that happened during our last battle is our pikeman units that we started the game with both ranked up high enough to convert themselves to the next tier of unit. So this unit has more health than a pikeman, more defense, and some different abilities. We still have the stand together, but now we have the same shield defense bonus that our hero has, which allows us to buff the physical defense of all of our nearby units. We have the heavy shield, which just gives us bonus defense against non-flanked attacks, and then we still have the normal traits. So, actually, this is the active ability that boosts everybody adjacent to us. This is just a natural boost to our defensive stat. So, um, pretty good overall. These units are really good staples in terms of protecting your backline units, providing a zone of defense that enemies have a difficult time moving through or around. And so it's a lot harder to flank these guys if you position correctly. And I tried to demonstrate that in an earlier video, and it didn't work out as well as I'd hoped. I'm still figuring out the details of exactly how you have to place your units. Cavalry units have very high movement, and so it's really hard to prevent them from getting flank attacks on your ranged units. But a lot of times if they do, they just put themselves in a bad position and it works out fine for you in the long run anyways. So now we've got a new pikeman to start leveling up, and it might be best to level him up in the Lion's army because I think, let's see if I can, does it show me what skills I've already picked up? Yeah, so I did not pick up Experienced Leader in this playthrough. So Experienced Leader is a pretty good ability. +2 experience per turn doesn't sound like a lot, but if you get it early in the game, it actually adds up quite quickly. And in addition to that, because as a feudal leader, you start with units that evolve, this will help them evolve that much more quickly if you take it right away. So if we had taken this as our first talent, that could have been really good in terms of a min-maxy way to level up our units. And then future ones also will level up more quickly with this, especially when you start to run out of fights. But since we don't have that, it's not as critical that we move this unit into his army stack. So maybe I will just move him into her stack and we'll see how it goes from there. I think we're ready to end the turn. I'm pretty sure I wrapped up everything at the end of last video. So let's go ahead and hit that and see what happens. Okay. Harbingers of Misfortune. So this is our second one of these, I believe. We'll go ahead and pick that up. That's going to be a quest. Okay, it's up to the north. So I have some decisions to make here with my armies. The good news is Halheim has moved into a position where they've turned over their vision to us. So that's what this was all about. So they're now, let's see what they are. They are we have a pact of loyalty. So we've moved past pact of cooperation to pact of loyalty. This is what has enabled the vision. I believe because the borders are now green, we may also get the healing in their territory, but it might be that we have to wait till we get vassalage. Um, in fact, I think we've done this before. So I think we might have tested this in an earlier video, and I'm pretty sure it was vassalage, because I remember seeing the green borders and being like, oh, that's weird, it didn't heal us. If for some reason we end up over here, I might check that again, but I think we're kind of in a position where I'm not sure we're ready to start a war with this guy just yet. And we still have a few things to clear out. There's not a lot over here that needs cleared out, although there is a dark layer, which is an interesting wonder, but we're going to have a hard time getting it. But we now have a quest here, and I do still need to clear this Brigand's Refuge out. And that means bringing our entire army back to the north, which I think we could do. Another very, very powerful wonder. This is a tier 3 wonder represented by the gold and the 3 skulls. This one's pretty cool, but it's going to be like super difficult. Like we're going to be fighting like tier 5, tier 4, very powerful units. You're going to need some high level heroes or a bunch of very high level, and I mean a bunch, because you can only take a single stack into wonders. So we're talking like 4 or 5 really high tier military units to try to take one of these. Sometimes it's worth exploring them just to see what's there. And so our movement actually allows us to do just that. Remember that in order to interact with wonders, you do need a hero. And again, there are no reinforcements allowed in these battles. It's strictly your hero and his army. And it can be a stack of heroes if you want to stack up all your heroes into a single stack and kind of go that route. Or it can be a stack of very high tier units. But bringing in tier 1s and tier 2s just isn't going to cut it for a wonder of this magnitude. But we can explore it and see what's in there. Oh, I see. Okay. So it's basically telling us that this is already claimed by another faction. And what that means is that their borders are close enough to it that they probably have a distant claim or a claim on this. It looks like it's the Root Seeker. And if we go in here, it's going to really piss him off. But that's okay, because we want to start a war with him anyways. So we're going to go ahead and go in. Poison and protection. Okay, so fairies. The poisonous horned god and its horrid friends assault our treetop den and seek to consume our friends and our babies. I think I have fought this one before. You can see the power is over 12,000 or 1,200. Sorry, 12,000 would be a little insane. So the poison tree is active. All attacking units have a 90% chance of inflicting poison. We can pay a bunch of food to negate that ability, or we can just fight the battle. We're not in any position to do either one of these, so we'll just leave and know that if we can get some poison resistant units, we may not need to spend the food. Let's go ahead and move towards that. We'll just move her. Stack those 2 units up for now. And start moving that whole army up there as well. Looks like it's going to be about 3 turns. Also, another wild animal. So we picked up another vampire spider. If we could ever level this up, it can become pretty good. You can see that it does have the evolve trait. And so those can get pretty powerful if you can level them up. Alright, so this was the vision share for Pact of Loyalty. More contributions to the Rally of Lieges. And they will now reinforce fights if we're in their territory when we get attacked. And we got another population. I really want to grab this, and that's why I think I'm holding on to that population. But it's going to be several turns before we get there, and by that point, I probably have another population pip ready. So, looking at what we have, I think it's going to be important for us to grab another forest. And this is going to give us access to more fish tiles, which we're definitely interested in doing. And so the reason I grabbed another forest is so that we have 3 farms, 3 forests, and 2 quarries, which is kind of the best setup we could get at the moment. And that setup is going to provide the most boosters to buildings that we might want to build. I can get the library in 1 turn or the storehouse in 1 turn. Let's go ahead and get the storehouse. Actually, come to think of it, our stability is starting to suffer a little bit. So let's go ahead and get the tavern to get our stability back to a positive state. And then we'll consider what we want to do after that. Also, at some point, we're probably going to want to talk about these. This one in particular is going to be useful for us, the Rune Carver's Camp. What this is going to allow us to do is it puts a special building down in place of the traditional farm, quarry, or forester. And in this case, it's going to count as a quarry. And we're in dire need of an additional quarry. The problem is the natural resources around us don't allow us to build one. But what this will let us do is it will let us replace whatever structure is there already with a quarry. So we definitely can grab this farm tile and then replace it with this Rune Carver's Camp to get our 3rd quarry for the booster effect. It'll also have some special effects, so this is going to provide draft and mana. It's not going to be a lot because we don't have a lot of adjacent quarries. But if we put it here, we'll at least get a little bit of mana. And I don't think there's a better position because the only other quarry we have is here. I guess we do have a mine here. Actually, oh, sorry. These are Eastwatch's territories, yeah. So we only had this iron deposit in this one, so there's no way we can actually connect more than about... Is that a gold mine? Okay. So we could technically get quarry, quarry, quarry. So if we switch these 3 to quarries, and then maybe switch this to something else, that might work as well. So maybe I'll consider doing that just to optimize for the mana at some point, but for right now, not completely necessary. And then unit-wise, I don't really know that we need to build anything else. A bannerman is kind of nice because it provides another healing unit for that 2nd stack. But we already have a support unit in that army. And the real question is, do we want 2 support units in this stack, or maybe just the 1? Another thing that I'm not 100% sure of is whether this caretaker bonus stacks. So if we were to have, say, 2 of these in an army, would we get a 40% reduction to the cost of animals? And that might be something worth testing out at some point as well. I imagine a lot of those abilities don't stack, but you never know. I'm really curious why this unit is here. I'm fairly certain. Well, I guess it did do a good job of going around the map here, although there's a little patch of fog of war there, but it did clear this entire ocean after all, so I guess I can't be too mad at it. I'm not sure where it's going at this point. Usually when you click on a unit like this, it will give you its plans, so maybe it plans to go back out that way. I'm not sure. Let's go ahead and end the turn. And we've already got our orders set. All right, so we finally hit our first rally of lieges. The next one will be in 11 turns, and every time that this cycles, all of these units will sort of be reshuffled. You'll get a whole new batch of them. We currently have 10 total recruitment points, and this is the recruitment point cost for each of these. So we got 2, 4, and 3, 7. So we could actually recruit this entire stack if we wanted to. This stack is going to be comprised of all of the units from vassals or friends. So any free cities that we are in good relationship with, in addition to any wonders that we've captured, are going to provide troops to this pool that we can then recruit into our army. And you can see right here, this is the relationship. So this is a bonded vassal, and this is the Pact of Cooperation or something like that, or the higher one, Pact of Allegiance. So that's where these came from. But this is a really interesting and cheap way to basically recruit a whole army. So we can recruit an entire stack of Tier 1 and Tier 2 units in our capital within a couple of turns. It does take some money, and it also takes 2 turns typically for the armies to arrive. But if you're in dire need of an army, this is one way to get one. Another thing you can do is you can muster the lieges. This reduces the time of the next rally. So if we were to recruit this army, pop this, we could recruit another one in 5 turns instead of 11. So this is another way of getting armies as opposed to building them yourself with draft. That being said, the interesting thought here, instead of sending these armies all the way up to the north, one thing we could do is send them to the west and use the Rally of Lieges to create an army to then go clear this out. We're getting pretty close to being able to just vassalize these guys. So maybe that's what we do instead. It's going to cost us a lot of gold to do that. But I'm not 100% sure. Let's see. We could spend some money to fabricate a grievance. What this is going to do is produce a small amount of grievance for us that we can then use to declare a war. You know, just like real politics. Not, like I said, 100% sure I'm ready to start a war with these guys just yet. The issue I have is, unless I'm willing to go underground, which we should probably check out. We have had scouts down here for a little while now. So there's a couple of passageways here. Lava lakes. Some mana nodes, but no cities. It looks like there's a bunch of space up here. You can kind of see the dark areas on the map in this zoom mode here. These are areas that I believe you cannot destroy, or at least you can't move through initially. There is the ability to dig new passageways and tunnels in some of the territories, but you have to research that in the Empire Development tree. Alright, well there is a city down here, but I'd rather save my Rally of Lieges army for later. Let's go ahead and get these guys up here, clear this quest, and get this done. Okay, they've declared a rivalry on us, so that's going to make it interesting. We both have rivalries. That means we're both going to accumulate grievances pretty quickly. One way to possibly get a war is just keep pissing these guys off. And then they'll declare war on us. But either way, treaty has expired. Yeah, I did look at this earlier. I don't really have the gold. Right now we're like way lower than 100 gold per turn, which I don't like being at. So I'm going to go ahead and pass on both of these trade deals for now. We'll go ahead and end the turn and get moving. So we're still several turns away from being able to do that. But we're getting there. Alright, we got the Seeker's Arrow research completed. I've got Animal Kinship and Call of the Wild. Call of the Wild is a combat spell which boosts the animal and cavalry units. And Animal Kinship is a passive minor race transformation that just provides bonus damage to all animal and cavalry units. So this one is probably more beneficial because it's just going to be active for everybody all the time with no upkeep cost. So we'll go ahead and grab that. Okay, so another ruler started negotiating with these guys. Let's take a look at who it was. Ah, yes. Okay, so the Molemen are talking to these guys, trying to be friendly with them. So this is an important time to talk about boosting allegiance. You can actually spend small amounts of Imperium to boost allegiance, and this is going to rapidly increase the rate at which you grow at the cost of a very, very tight resource most of the time. Typically, I don't bother boosting allegiances unless it's a city that I really want to grab quickly, or in this case, another ruler is trying to negotiate with them. Because if the other ruler manages to finish this chain before you do, it will actually remove your ability to negotiate with them, and then they will capture them as a vassal. So we're going to go ahead and boost our allegiance and reduce the number of turns it takes to vassalize these guys, because I really wanted to get that that city all the way over here on the other side of the map. So that's what we're looking to do with that. It will also further enrage the mole men, which we want to go to war with anyways. And they insulted us, so now we have a grievance. I actually could declare a justified war here, but with only 14, it might be worth fabricating a grievance to try to hit that next break point. It doesn't really tell me how many points a fabricated grievance is going to add on to this. But if we look here, in order to get to a moderate one, we're going to need at least 26 points. And we currently have 14. And so if we were to get another 14, that would put us at 28. That would actually be enough. So let's go ahead and do it. I've not done this one. Does it tell me in this page how much we're going to get? No. But it does say it will take 5 turns and cost a little bit of resources, which is fine. Let's go ahead and work on that. And then hopefully we're done with our task to the north by the time we're ready. Ah, finally. Okay, so now we've reached the second highest tier of vassalage, which is flourishing. The final tier is supreme, and at supreme vassalage, we'll actually be collecting 70% of their resources. It says it's only 60 here. I thought it was 70. I thought it was 20% for the Uniters trait that we have, and then 50, but maybe it is only 40 normally. Yeah, chosen Uniters adds 20% income from vassals, so it must only be 40% typically. It says clearly here 50, and now here it's saying 60. That might be a bug. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on with that. Once you reach this point, you do have the option to integrate the city. And this is one of the reasons why we've been saving up so much of our Imperium, because this is very expensive to do. Now, the advantage to integrating the city is that you get to claim a new city, which you have full control over. You also get the hero, that is currently the leader of that free city, for free. And basically, you get all of the income. So 100% of the income that the city's producing. You can decide what new buildings you want to build. It's pretty cool. The downside is that all of the armies that they've collected and are using to defend that city currently get lost. They go back into the normal population, basically, and you are now responsible for providing the armies to defend the city. They don't have their own private armies anymore that defend them. And so that can be kind of a downside, especially if you're using them as a buffer between other factions. But this is something we definitely want to do. We also lose the ability to trade, but again, we're getting 100% of the resources, so trading isn't as important. So let's go ahead and do that. Excuse me. So we now have a new city. Allergy season. We can go ahead, and the very first thing that I'm going to want to do is put our brand new hero in charge of that city. And governors of cities don't have to stand in the city and do nothing on the map. They can move around and be active. But she is also going to boost food and gold slightly. And different heroes with different affinities are going to have different amounts that they're boosting your empire, as well as other traits that they pick up. So we'll go ahead and put her in charge of that city. That'll give us just a little bit of extra resource, and then we can inspect the city structures so we can see what they've built so far. You can see they haven't been very active with their city structures. And this is one of the reasons why leaving them as a vassal sometimes is not a great idea. One of the things that you can do is sort of get the city specialized, like take it over for a while, get it all decked out, and then turn it back over as a vassal if you don't want to deal with it. But then it'll actually be producing proper amounts of income. But really, they haven't done hardly anything, which is a little disappointing. They have 2 mines, 2 quarries, and a forester. And we can give them a Whispering Stone, or we can save that Whispering Stone for one of the other factions. But we can see that they're not super happy at the moment. Stability's only at 5. Alright, so this is now all our territories. That's good. Let's talk about what buildings we might want to build. So the Clergy Commons, the library, they don't even have palisade walls, let alone stone walls. The castle is pretty good. They have no farms. Let's go ahead and get some of the cheap buildings out of the way for now. And now that I've got a new hero here, I might want to consider getting a new army for her. And I could throw her into this army and just let that ride. And that might be the cheapest way to handle it. Or I could use that Rally of Lieges to pull a brand new army and put her in command of that. I think for now, in terms of what our resources are, I'm going to go ahead and just put her in charge of this army, and we'll use her to help take out these stacks and then decide from there if we want to continue to do that. I don't need any more of these units at the moment. I can build a Masonic Hall, which is going to get production up a little bit more. We're really close to this. In fact, you're going to see we had almost 500 of this, and it's almost gone already because I'm going to go ahead and activate that and get our town hall started. Tier 3 town hall is going to give us a cool couple of boosts. So this is going to give us that +1 annex range that we can then use to grab this tile. I am going to go ahead and grab this farm for now. And then we're going to convert that into that quarry, as well as this. So we can convert this into a quarry. Am I ready to do that, though? Sure, let's go ahead and do that, and then this quarry down here needs to be converted to a mine, possibly? I don't need 4 quarries. Let's go ahead and convert that to a mine, and then we'll figure it out once those get finished, and I get this one. Haste berries are now acquired, so that was from one of our vassals. It's actually from this tile right here. No longer a vassal. Alright, so we got some new options for trade. Rainbow Clover or Archaon Blood. If we look at our materials, Rainbow Clover would be 2 of the plant variants, and Archaon Blood would be 2 of these. I have to think about that for a second. So do any of these other guys? Yeah, I can go ahead and give that extra Whispering Stone to her for now. Plus 100 relations with free cities, or 20 combat casting points. Let's go ahead and get the 20 combat casting points. That might be helpful when we fight this wonder. Finally getting to the spot where we have some roads built. So I think we can actually grab this fight now.
Uh-huh.
Put her in command of that army. And just out of curiosity, what do we have for items? So she's rocking a shield and a mace. Give her, well, let's see, she's got True Sight, Charge Resistance. Where's that from? It's not from that. It's not from that. It's not from that. So she must have picked it up. That's one of her traits. That's unfortunate. So she took melee fighting, Lord of Crops, which is why she's getting all of that bonus food in her city. True Sight and Vigor. Well, since she took fighting, we probably want to leave her with a melee weapon, so that's fine. Not the greatest skills. Alright, we have spells ready to cast. I want to get Seeker Arrows so that our archers are even better. And we got some new Empire development stuff. Cheaper outposts, not all that exciting. Founding and absorbing cities, not really interested in that at the moment. Destroying infestations and conquering cities grants relations. Don't really need that at the moment either. Here's the excavation trade I mentioned earlier that we can use to dig tunnels when we're ready to. And I could grab another Whispering Stone if I wanted just so I have one in my back pocket for for boosting a city, uh, boosting a city's morale, basically. There aren't any other free cities that I really want to talk to, so at least that we've met. This is moved up. I'm going to go ahead and keep boosting this until we get to vassalage, which will knock this player off and will no longer allow them to trade with these guys. All right. And then this one will just continue to let build naturally. They're very happy with me, so that's good. All right, and then let's go ahead and do this fight. So I can click on the right unit here. We have a cav unit with more movement. We can pay gold to make this a little bit easier, but discouraged attackers with this much of an overwhelming force. Granted, these are tier 3 units, but we should be able to resolve this pretty easily. That's kind of unfortunate that we lost a spider again, but they're also pretty easy to recast, so I'm going to let it slide. Alright, I can get a nice chunk of Imperium back, or we could rush the construction of our current town hall. Let's go and get that town hall done. Got the clergy commons completed. This is going to provide more gold. This can be done like instantly, so let's just go ahead and get that out of the way. And then the tithe shrine is always good. Let's just get the economy stuff sorted out for now. I could spend a little bit of Imperium to grab another tile. Is there another tile that I'm like really super interested in? It doesn't look like it. Technically I could grab this watchtower and connect these, but I don't think there's any real reason to do that. At least not faster than what would happen naturally, so. Alright. So this army still has a little bit of movement left. So we can get to there. Now, it's less important for her army to join us because only one army gets to go into the Wonder. So for her army, maybe we'll just send them down this way and consider like building an outpost down here by the Tree of the Fae or something. One thing that I did just notice, this is a 4-player game, and we've only met 2 of the other 3 players. So we do have a third player, AI player, that's probably underground. Alright, so we can actually get to this brigand's lair. This is a bronze wonder, so this is going to be a much easier fight than the gold tier 3 one. And this is a brigand lair. We can basically tell the brigands to F off. Good character action increases our alignment. Hidden traps is active. Or we can allow the bandit leader to reveal traps. So the real question is, do I want this? One of the complaints I do have is when you're in these screens, it's difficult to check your current alignment. It's not something that's on this top bar up here, which I feel like it should be somewhere. So like maybe right here, your alignment should be up on this bar, because there's no way for me to actively check my alignment, at least that I've been able to come across. Yeah, just like going through all of these doesn't ever get me to my current alignment. So let's just go ahead and take the buff to alignment. So he's going to have hidden traps that cause bleeding. He's got a tier 3 cav unit and a level 1 hero. Let's manual combat this, just so I take as little damage as possible. So this is a defensive structure you might see in a battle with walls. There'll be limited amounts of spaces for you to breach. So create some interesting choke points, and then there are some other buffs and things that you can get from, I think, standing on these battlements. But we're not going to worry too much about that at the moment. What I want to see is how far he can move. He's got a ranged attack, corpse eating, a quick stab, and he can move all the way out to about here. So if I'm in these tiles or further back, he's going to have a hard time doing enough damage to me.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and move him. Move him to there. This looks pretty good. This turn, I don't want to use this ability. I want to save it so that it lasts for turns where we're actually going to be in a fight. So we'll just go ahead and go into defensive mode here. And this turn, I can cast my morale spell. And in addition to that, I can boost everybody's defenses for the next 3 turns. And these guys, let's see. Wow. Why is his 60%? Okay. So are they in like a I'm not sure why they have such high defense against ranged attacks. Alright, so this is a position where I probably want to move this unit here to prevent this flank attack. Wow. Let's get these guys moved up. little bit of damage there. Alright, we'll see how this goes. Alright, I'm gonna want to cast that at some point, but I need to move him up and heal because I've already taken a lot of damage on that unit, unfortunately. I probably want to trigger... This unit doesn't have a retaliation attack. This unit does. If I trigger the retaliation attack here, I'll take a little bit of damage, but then these guys can fight free. Okay. Yeah, I really need to... Okay, well that's not ideal, but let's go ahead and cast this so we can try to keep that unit alive. And then before we cast our ranged attacks, we'll boost our morale one more time. Crap. By moving that unit in the way, we've reduced our accuracy even more, which kind of sucks. I'm just not getting the kinds of combat rolls I would like here with the high morale I have. And he's a pretty good chance of killing that, so I should do that. He has a good chance of doing a lot of damage here, so I should probably do that. Okay. I want to kill this unit, move this unit here, and then do 2 attacks with these 2 melee units onto their hero. So, who has the best odds of doing damage here? This is kind of critical to my plan, so I'm going to go ahead and cast Prey on him. Yeah, and And now we have a much better chance of potentially killing this guy with both of my archers. And of course we shoot our own hero. Wow. Brilliant. Ah, he's still alive. That sucks. And I don't have any more ranged attacks. Frickin' waste. Okay, well, I can move my hero here. That forces both of these guys to move if they want to act. And we'll do... I could cast Undying Loyalty on one of my units if I'm afraid they're gonna die. I don't think anybody's likely to die. So I think I just take my 2 swings and roll with it. If I need to use Undying Loyalty on this unit next turn, I can. But I have a feeling it's going to be difficult for them to kill him. Yeah, they're bolstering defenses. Alright, that was a crit, so that's good. Good. I got a bad roll for once, too. Alright. I have my bolster defenses again, so... Alright, so let's move him to the front line. Let's move him to there. We'll get him in that side, and then a couple of critical hits there. Man. Come on. Oh my god, are you serious? This could be really bad. Alright, he needs to soak that retaliation attack. I'm going to use Undying Loyalty there. And then I'm going to reposition him to face forward so he can't get flanked. And I'm going to bolster our defenses to try to get through one more round of combat here. And then I should have cast this earlier, but... I keep forgetting to cast my spells at the proper times. Alright, so losing our hero at this point is not the end of the world as long as we win the fight. Heroes have an ability called Resurgence. Which brings them back with 1 hit point for any fight that is won at the end of the battle. But for whatever reason, I just can't seem to kill these guys. Losing your hero does mean you cannot cast spells for a little while, though. Oh my god, are you serious?
Hmm. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Alright, 3 critical hits.
Uh-huh.
Alright, that unit's down, finally.
Mm.
Please don't shoot my guys in the back.
Mm.
Alright, it's gonna be close, but we have the numbers advantage at the moment. Alright, this is gonna be tricky, but I think we can pull this off. I really need this guy to die. Let's get our damage in that we can. Oof. Okay, so the only way that this works is if I move this unit, which allows that unit to move away and take the attack of opportunity. So by moving here, they'll take the attack of opportunity, which is fine. And then they should be able to do good damage here. And then this unit should be able to move away. And actually, he needs to just retreat the heck out of here. This unit should be able to finish this guy off. And we're barely going to win this battle. This unit's not very dangerous. I say that, and they can still do damage, but
Mm.
they're going to have a hard time doing damage once we bottle them up. They can't retaliate against our melee units, so... And at this point... I think we just put everything into... Yeah, so they're fleeing. They lost all their morale, so even though they still have health, they're just done. And notice our hero's still alive with 1 hit point, and we're in friendly territory. We leveled up a couple of guys, so that's good. That was a tough battle. We could take on another hero. Take some loot, or get a whole bunch of morale for a while. How long does this last? Doesn't really tell me. I can't inspect this hero either. Maybe we can. Hold on. There we go. Okay. She's an Elven Watcher. Barbarian Gifted Caster. She has a Whirlwind Strike, which is kind of cool. Maybe this is a good hero to pick up to lead our army of animals. Let's go ahead and take her. And then we're now at a place where I can grab that. So now we're getting the bonuses from this, which is good. And we're right at about an hour, so I think it's about time to go ahead and call this video, but we'll finish up this turn. So I can build a library or a storehouse for pretty cheap. We also have a Wizard's Tower, which is going to boost our Imperium, which I think might be the way to go, because our Imperium is like really low again. We've been spending it like crazy. I do need this Reaver's Camp though, so let's go ahead and we're going to replace this farm with the Reaver Camp in 2 turns. And then let's build that Wizard's Tower. Don't have the gold to really rush that. Where is this new hero at? Okay. So she's just in the pool of heroes. I still have to pay for her, but she only costs 100 gold. Let's go ahead and recruit her now. And let's... come on. Send this army over towards her. And then we'll decide how we want to divvy up our armies and our heroes. Now, unfortunately, because we're over our hero cap, heroes cost 30 extra gold. Every hero that you pick up is free of upkeep if you have a city. So we currently have 2 of 3 possible cities. And the whole caps on cities and heroes are kind of weird because they sort of overlap. So you have a city cap, you can go over your city cap, but there are penalties to your outputs, basically. You can also increase the cap, and then you also have a hero cap, which is tied to the number of cities that you have. And the same thing with the heroes. You can go over your cap, but it costs extra resources, specifically gold. Alright, we're ready to go ahead and cast that. That would have been actually helpful last time. And we have a dead brigand in our crypt. He has a robe and a satirical orb. None of those are really super great. We'll just leave him in there for now. We could get 40 gold for selling his remains and collect the loot. And at some point we'll probably want to do that, but for now, we'll leave it as is. And I think we're just about ready to start building fisheries and going whole hard ham on the coastal tiles and see if they pay off in the mid game. Were there any other free cities? So all of these free cities have a Whispering Stone, and those are all the ones that we're aware of. And this should be close to getting done. So probably next video we'll be able to declare that justified war and start sending our armies to take on Mr. Mole Man. So far things are working pretty much according to plan, making the best of this difficult situation. But I think we're in a pretty good spot. So I'm going to go ahead and end the video for today. Again, there might be a second one out this evening if I'm feeling up to it and don't have too many other things going on. I am getting ready for the holiday weekend and we'll be out of town for a couple of days. So Don't fret if you're enjoying the series. I'll do as much as I can during this next few days before my days off and my holiday, but then I will be gone for a while until the following week. So until next time, this has been the Nose Plays, and you guys have a wonderful day.